At T-Mobile, our critical mission is providing unparalleled 5G coverage for when connectivity is mission critical. Introducing T-Priority, America's best 5G network experience for first responders, even in times of congestion. More capacity, faster speeds, better coverage. T-Priority from T-Mobile, built for tomorrow's emergencies, ready today. Discover more at t-priority.com.
For qualifying organizations on eligible rate plans, coverage not available in some areas and may be impacted by emergencies.
Hi, and welcome to the 10-Minute Food Truck Training Podcast. My name is Bill Moore. I'm a food truck business trainer, author of Food Truck 101, Beginner to Winner, and the forthcoming book, Food Truck 201, Get Off the Truck. This podcast is all about helping you start and grow your food truck business. Yesterday, I talked about getting back to basics, a program that a lot of restaurants fall into when things aren't going the way they should. Today, I'm going to talk about your foundation. Your current foundation, which is the way you're already operating, likely needs some type of improvement and upgrades. Otherwise, you really wouldn't be listening to this podcast. In my coaching business, owners often loudly complain when I tell them exactly what they need to do when it comes to increasing their sales or reducing their expenses. Much of our advice in our coaching business actually works, and that's a shock for a lot of people. Getting off the food truck and becoming a business owner rather than a prep, a cook, or a cashier, it takes improvements or changes in 3 key areas, and those translate into a different kind of work. Those 3 key areas are, we got to fix you, we got to fix the food truck, and we got to fix the business. So let's talk about you. Right now, you're likely just an employee of your food truck, and I say this all the time. You just created your own job, and you probably don't like your boss. So we're going to work on that. You might be highly paid, but you're still an employee nonetheless, because if you don't work today, neither does the food truck. You don't generate any income. You must first become a successful leader before you can take that very first step off of that food truck. There's a vast difference in owning a food truck and owning a food truck business. A food truck needs people to do food service activities, and most likely you are doing the lion's share of those activities. A food truck business, on the other hand, needs a leader to set the standards, a leader to train the people doing those food service activities, and then a leader to hold the people accountable for their productivity and their output. It's just like honing a knife's edge before you start using it. Perfecting that knife's edge is an accepted part of using a knife. Honing your leadership skills must become a daily habit. It certainly is not a one and done activity. You can't read one book and now you're the perfect leader. You have to practice it. You have to hone those skills every single day. We have to work on the food truck. Before you can get off the truck, the staff must be able to handle all the work without you doing whatever it is you're currently doing. Getting the work done to meet your expectations requires developing standards, policies, procedures, and systems, so the work gets done exactly as if you're there. Plus, these standards, policies, procedures, and systems are required to start your food truck fleet if you want a second or third or fourth food truck. Or if you're going to get into the licensing and franchise side of things, you need those standards, policies, procedures, and systems. And they have to be written. Putting in the hard work in this area pays dividends. Because once those standards, policies, procedures, and systems are written, they only need occasional tweaking to stay meaningful and current to your business operations. So now we're going to work on the business. We've already worked on you. We've talked about the food truck. Now let's talk about the business. Stepping off the truck changes your role tremendously. Inside the truck is comfortable. Inside the truck, the work is predictable. You do prep work, you cook some food, you take some orders, and you and your team produce the food and hand it out to somebody and go, thank you, have a nice day. That's not the business. The business for you at this point, just the food truck. All decisions and tasks at this stage are more reactionary in nature. An order comes in, we react, we make some food. We start to run out of food, we react, we go buy more food. The food gets made, and hopefully the guests are impressed, and they return tomorrow. At the end of the day, we react again, and we clean the mess up. We go around the truck and go, yep, I need this food, and then we place an order so we pick up food tomorrow. Sales are slow, we react, we do more social media. We do some marketing. Or we decide, well, we need to move to a new location and start looking for a better location. We react. Here's a little secret. Your business is actually off the truck. The truck is just a piece of complex equipment. It requires human activity to produce your orders, but that human activity doesn't necessarily mean you have to do it. The people you feed, the food you use, the future of your business are all off the truck. You need to define the culture or the personality of your business. That personality is your reputation. And when it comes to attracting staff, especially the kind of staff you want in charge of that food truck so you can get off of it in the first place, your reputation precedes you. Your reputation as a business. And understand, I'm not talking about reviews and I'm not talking about your service. It's much bigger than the food you sell. I'm talking about your business standing in the community and how other business people see you and your company. For example, a number of years ago, I attended a Chamber of Commerce meeting, and the part of the discussion that particular day was a large company was bringing in about 500 of its middle managers to do a quote-unquote training weekend. Remember, I'm on the beach, so most of that weekend was just going to be the managers having an excuse to be in Destin, Florida, and having a whole bunch of fun. But the company approached the Chamber of Commerce and was asking for recommendations for a place that could handle doing a casual lunch during the Saturday training. They wanted the food brought in to the beach so that while they were doing their training, the folks would have something to eat when they took their lunch break. So they needed all the food to be served essentially at the same time. They wanted it to be served within about a 90-minute time frame. And the discussion brought up a whole bunch of different restaurants and a couple of food trucks. What could those particular businesses do to get the food down to the beach and make it hot and make it something delicious for those attendees? And again, we want to impress that company that's coming down because we want them to come back next year and the year after that. So we don't want to mess this opportunity up. So that was a discussion of the chamber. And as you would expect, there were a lot of varying opinions on who was the best one to do the job. And what narrowed down the choice was the reputation of those local owners. One restaurant was tossed out of the discussion really early because they were known to run late whenever they were given any kind of a catering opportunity. They were known to be super tight with the food and run out of food during a catering opportunity, which is never a good thing. And they were just generally difficult to work with during service and during the setup and during the teardown. They had a bad reputation. It had nothing to do with the name of the business because they were a well-known chain, and it also had nothing to do with the taste because the food met the quality standards of the particular chain. The determining factor in kicking them out of the discussion was the reputation of the people that were running the business. No one wanted to even broach the subject with them because they were too hard to work with, although they had the resources they could have pulled off that lunch easily, but the reputation kicked them out of the running. Now, the winner of that discussion was a pirate-themed food trailer that you guys might know about. We were able to win out over the larger restaurant chains because our reputation preceded us. When I talk about QSCC, that second C is community. Part of the overall community you will develop for your business is your business's reputation within your local, your physical community, your town, your city, your county, wherever it is that you transact business. Your reputation is going to precede you. Your business personality or the culture of your business will be the difference in whether you expand and get a second truck and a third truck, or you just remain a struggling single food truck trying to make your daily expenses. Understand every action you do in the community reflects on your business. If you want to be the employer of choice, you've got to do things the other businesses aren't doing. You've got to be the boss people want to work for. Thank you guys so much for listening to the 10-Minute Food Truck Training Podcast. If you're finding all the information helpful to your food truck business, please become a monthly supporter of the podcast. Just hit the support button, follow the link in the description. Every little bit does help keep us going. Join our Facebook group. It's called Food Truck Training. We have a whole bunch of awesome members at all different levels, from brand new beginners to decades-old veterans. They'll have your back when it comes to helping you with your food truck. And again, thank you for listening. Come back tomorrow because you know I got plenty more to say when it comes to helping you and your food truck business grow.